Okay, in this example, I'm going to demonstrate a switch statement. A switch statement is another statement that can be used to make decisions. It's often used in place of an if-else-if statement, but you need to note that you can always use an if-else-if statement. The switch statement is somewhat limited because there are certain data types it doesn't work with, like strings and doubles, and it also is not good if you're working with a range of values. Like I want to check all values between 50 and 100. So it does work with integers and it works with character data. Um, and when you do use it, the code really looks nice and neat. But again, it can't be used in all cases. So here I have an if-else-if statement. I ask the user to enter a product code, right? I give them a choice, they enter it, and then it says this product is located in the, and based on what they enter, it'll display the department. Otherwise, it'll display no department. Okay, so let's just run this. See what it looks like. Oh, it came right back. All right, if I put M products located in the meat department. Well, I should spell meat correctly. That looked weird. Okay. Right, B, bakery. And if I put in X, it's in no department, you entered an invalid code. Okay, so I'm going to show you how to use a switch statement in place of the if-else-if statement. So, it's really going to do the same thing, just using a different structure. Okay, so I'm going to start off with the reserved word switch. And in here I put what's called a selector. The selector is going to be an integer or double, variable or expression in which the choices are going to be made. Okay, so if you're using product code for all your comparisons here, that should be your selector. And in here we put case labels. Now, one of the possibilities is the product code could be a P. If that's the case, I'm just going to see out produce department. So you're going to see me doing a lot of copying and pasting down here. Okay. At the very end of the statements in here, you need to put a break. And what the break does is it breaks out of the switch statement. If you don't have that in there, it's not going to work, and I'll talk about that in just a bit. Okay. Our next case should be D, and that'll see out dairy department. Oops, sorry. Oops, I already cut that. Let's just try and make that faster. Okay. And then break. Right. Our next case label is M. And we need a break. And let's see, S. Sorry, there's a lot of cut and paste going on here. And we have our bakery. And lastly is our else statement. So in a switch statement, you don't have an else, but you have what's called a default statement. So it uses the reserved word default, and that's where you would put anything that would generally go in an if. Now you could put in a breakout here at the end if you want, but it's not really necessary because it is the last statement in the switch. And, you know, your brakes can go out here or they can go in here, wherever you kind of like to line them up. They don't all have to be on the same line. You can have more than one statement in here. You know, you could have 2 statements or 3 statements. Check my spelling on some of this. All right, before the break. So if I had, you know, another see out statement in here, you know, that would be fine. And again, I could put them on separate lines if I want, and that will work. Okay. So let's just run this. I'm going to take out this and make sure it works. So, you know, I'm going to put in P, say the produce department, and I'll just pick another one, S, seafood department, and I'll pick something that's not there, and it will go into no department. All right, so that shows you a simple switch statement. So a couple of things you can do is you can have multiple cases. So I could also say case uppercase P if I wanted to here. So the user could either enter a lowercase p or an uppercase P, and it'll go into that. Yeah, I probably won't put all these out there because it's not so exciting to watch me. But you can put multiple cases out there. And the only thing I want to show you is I'm going to take away 2 of these break statements. And I'm actually going to enter in a P, and I'm going to show you what happens. The produce is located in the produce department, dairy department, meat department. Press any key to continue. So what happens is once it meets the P, it'll execute this statement and this statement and this statement until it hits the break. So it is really important that you put your break statements when you have a switch. Just like with an if-else-if statement, the default is optional. You can have one, but you don't need to have one. Okay, that's a switch statement.